Hi, and welcome to DS Tech Mirror. This channel is dedicated to deliver content related to SharePoint Online customizations. This video is the fifth of the React video tutorial series, which is aimed at mastering React from scratch. And in this video, we are going to explore more in depth about React events. Here's a quick recap of what we have covered in the last video. In the last video, we have seen component lifecycle. There were three phases in the component lifecycle, and each phase comprised of certain methods. And these methods are called by default in a certain hierarchy. We have seen all this with the help of a demo. If you want to quickly revise those topics again, you can click the link on the top right corner. So this video focuses on React events. So how React events are different from any other HTML events? The first difference that strikes to our mind is the casing. In HTML events, it is Pascal casing, like you can see on here, on click. And in React, it is Pascal casing, which is on, and the C is on is capitalized. So this casing difference differentiates React from the other HTML events. Second, where should you place the event handlers? So the placement of event handlers is similar to any other simple functions present in the component. So you will be placing the event handlers inside the component only, similar to the other functions. Like in this example, the button click event on click calls this method change price, and the change price method resides inside the component, inside the function space, and after the constructor. Literally, placement of constructor, functions, and render can be changed inside a component. We prefer placing it in this order to align with the logical hierarchy of execution of these methods. Now, so far in our demo, you would have seen many functions that are involved, and all these functions are written using arrow functions. We usually prefer arrow functions over the normal functions because arrow functions are much simpler and shorter. It also has a better handling of this keyword compared to the normal functions. These arrow functions were introduced in ES6. So let us see a demo comparing the arrow functions and the normal function. This is the React application that we have, and on the right hand side is the result. We have seen the result, the process of developing this apply discount and other concepts in the previous demo. Now we are going to find the difference between the arrow functions and the regular functions through event handling. So what I'm going to do right now is, after this apply discount, after all this message which is popping, I'm going to add two buttons over here, yes and no buttons. So after would you like to add this product to your cart, I would add yes and no button. On click on yes and no button, I would get appropriate alert messages. Plus, one of the buttons would be my arrow function, and second one would be my regular function. These both will be the event handlers of the button click event. So let's explore more on this concept. First, let us create the buttons in the render method. After this message, I will be adding two buttons with ID and second button button no. over here because I have not handled the display of this button. So I will be handling this. First, let me hide these buttons. We will have two flower brackets over here in order to enter the style information. Display none. The same we are going to do in the no button also. On saving, I don't have any buttons. So when should we display these buttons? After the display of this message, we will be displaying those buttons. So under this, inside the timeout method only, I'll be adding document dot get element by id. Similar to this implementation, I'm going to call this button yes dot style dot display equal to look. Copy the same thing and do the same thing for the no button. Save it. Let us test it quickly. Apply discount. Yes, I got these two buttons. Right now, I'm not going to focus on the UI part. Let's see the functionality part. So, on the click of this button, I'm going to include an event handling method. On click, as you see, on click is Pascal casing. On click is camel casing, and inside the flower brackets, this dot. I've not created the method yet, but I'll be creating with the same name with what I give here. Yes, arrow click function. The same I'll be creating on top of it. This will be my arrow function. Let me alert this. Let me show you the difference. Right now, only yes method has a click function. So let me execute it and show you. On the click, I got this alert, and in this alert, I'm just displaying the this key object. So it displays the object, and this object represents the component object in which the arrow function is defined. Okay, now let's implement the same thing using the regular function in the no button. On click equal to this dot no regular function click. So I'm going to define this like a normal regular function. Now, if I provide the same thing, alert of this, let's see what happens. On yes, I'm getting the object. On no, I'm getting it as undefined. Why? Because in order to use this keyword inside a regular function, you have to do a binding prior to the calling of this keyword. So let us do the same. If I go to the constructor and I have to bind this dot no function equal to this dot no function again dot bind of this. So what I'm doing, I'm binding the no buttons event handler method with this keyword, and assigning the result to the same event handler. Now let us save it and let us test it again. Yes, it is the same object, and now no, it results the same thing. It now points to the component object. So only after binding, only after this statement, we will be able to use this regular method. But in arrow function, there is no need to bind this keyword, and it is automatically, by default, this keyword is bound to the component object which defined that event method. Okay? Now we saw the difference between the regular function and the arrow function. Next, we will be seeing how we can pass the properties through the event handling. So for passing properties, what I'm going to do is, on the click of Yes button, I'm going to pass the title of the selected product. So the selected product is, right now we have only one product. I'm going to pass the product's title. This dot state dot title. So this step also will be helpful if you are displaying a dynamic content. If your dynamic content also has a button like this, and on click of the button you are passing the dynamic content's results, then it will be very useful for you to capture that information somewhere in the button logic. So here I'm passing the title, and what I'm going to do is display it here. Thanks for selecting the ebook, and I'm going to display the props. So I'm going to catch the props first. I can give any variable over here. I can give A or B or whatever it is. Right now I'm going to get title. Need not be the same thing which you pass. Any variable name will be fine. Title. Save it. Let me go. See, I'm getting a pop-up right away. I'm getting the alert right away. On click of any button, I'm getting the pop-up, getting the alert right away. So, do you know why this is happening? Yes, the button click, the event handling method is being called recursively. Why? Because we did not handle it properly. Here, when we pass the variable, when we include the variable in parenthesis, we have to do another important step. We have to provide this arrow representation so that the component will understand that this method call will happen only when an on-click event occurs. So now if I save it, I'm not getting any recursive alerts, and apply discount button is clicked, and now yes button is clicked. I'm getting the correct result. So that was one thing that you have to remember when you are passing any parameters along with the function. Okay. Now, this is how we pass the props. Along with the props, you can pass events also. So, there are certain cases when you want to pass the event, which is a click event or a mouse hover event, whatever it is. Because, for example, if the event handling method is the same for multiple events, for example, your code logic includes 3 events. One is the key press event, then a mouse click event, and then mouse hover event. Your logic will have a counter, and the counter will be updated when your key is pressed or mouse is clicked on and not on mouse hover. And you have the same functionality, which is the counter update. So when an event is occurred, you will be passing the event to the same method, okay? And inside the method, you will be checking the type of the event. If the event is key press or if the event is mouse click, you will be updating the counter. Otherwise, you will be ignoring and moving to the different logic. So that's where passing events will be helpful. There are two ways to pass events in arrow functions. The first one, we explicitly pass event. The second one, we use bind method. So let us see the first one. When we pass the events explicitly, here we enter the event object twice. Okay, and here we will be handling that event. Let me show you. ev.type. Always the last parameter will be the event parameter. So rearrange this step over here. And now apply. Yes, it's a click event. Okay, here we can understand that the event, we have passed the event and the event's type we have displayed, and now we can utilize this type in order to enhance our logic. The second way is to remove this and use bind method instead. When you use bind, we do not have the explicit arrow function that we have used. We can remove this. Control yes. And I've got the same result. So as I said, there are two ways to pass events. One is manually passing the event. The second one is using the bind method. So events are simple concepts in React. There are only few differences compared to the traditional event handling methods. So guys, thanks for watching the video. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. And please don't forget to hit the bell icon to get the notifications of the upcoming videos. Till then, much love, keep learning.